The theme. Welcome to the program, everybody. The theme went off without a hitch. Only something didn't access when it played. So like I'm here, I'm live. Everything's working. I've tested it all. Like I did a test beforehand, and the theme just didn't play. So let's play it again. Gotta have your theme. Gotta know what you're watching, right? You gotta be in the game. You gotta start off with a good start. And we had a little bumpy start. That's okay. A little bump in the road is okay. And we're connecting to the audio studio. I'm in as the host. Yay! I'm glad it tells me. Um, the phone number to call in is 203 902 8696. Temporary number. Remember, temporary number. But that is the phone number to call in. We are going to be talking about Black Lives Matter and a story that I want to do. That is just, oh my God, are you fucking kidding me? That's how much it aggravates me, this story. It's an oh my God, are you fucking kidding me story that we're doing. And it's just, I, it's almost hard to believe that we have to like go there at this point. But this is how people, the conception of people is. This is how people think. As I take a sip of my soda because I can't live without it. Um, this the story is amazing, and rightly so. It got lots and lots of views, and it just shows how far we have to go in discourse and in what we talk about and in how we talk about things and what we deal with. We have so far a road to go. It's huge, this road. It is huge. So let me pull up this story here and do it the right way. And let's try it this way. And there we go. Let's just bear with me. Having fun and games on the FYI Nation show. Um, let's remove me. There's the story. Add to stream. And I don't. There we go. There we go. Little complicated. Little complicated in the morning on the morning show. Just a little bit on the Nosey Liberal. But we're here. We're live. You're lucky if you're listening on the FYNation.com stream. You can't see this. And leave a comment if you want. Somebody just did. VYN whatever that means. I got a Russian bot. Um, love the Russian bots. Hi, Russian bot. But we're talking Black Lives Matter. I tweeted it out about it, so we'll probably see some bots and see some bullshit. But this story from the Hill is just absolutely fundamentally amazing. It's amazing that people are like this, and we're going to talk about it some. And uh, this Black Panther director handcuffed in January after bank staffers mistakenly thought he was a robber. I shit you not. So Ryan Coogler directed the Creed and the Black Panther. I'm ashamed to say that I have not seen either of the movies. I sat through some of the Black Panther, couldn't get through it. I tried. What does that say about me? I'm a horrible person. But he's a great director and he makes great films. And he should be well known. I would not know who he is. Like if you walked in um on the street or something, I would not know who he is. And that would be my fault that I would not know who he is. That would be my bad. Um and I would not take him for a bank robber though, because he passes a note, which is essentially what he did. He was trying to be like you try to be discreet about things. And you want to oh, I don't know, not announce to the world I'm taking out $12,000. You do not want to announce to the world I am taking out $12,000 from the bank. That is not a thing that you want to say, hey, 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 look at me. Here's my money, everybody. So you do the logical thing and you write a note. Um, and you present it. And the note says, I would like to withdraw $12,000 cash from my checking account. Please do the money count somewhere else. I'd like to be discreet. The note is very concise and very accurate and very, oh my God, makes sense. Please be discreet. So the transaction triggered an alert. Like he was sending money to Nigeria or something. Some money laundering scam. Alert, 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 alert. Big bad alert. Big bad alert. You got a black man with a note. Check and see if he has a gun. Black man with a note. The only saving grace is that this didn't happen in February. It happened in January. And we have this story. The teller misunderstood. And the supervisor misunderstood. And the note is not misunderstanding anything that should be misunderstanding. He has $12,000 in his account. Be discreet. Don't cut. The bank literally did. On top of everything else, the bank literally did the opposite of be discreet. They went, oh my God, I gotta go batshit crazy. He wants to, oh, $12,000. $12,000? He handed a withdrawal slip with a note. Come on, folks. And you know it's because he's black. You know this happened because he's black. They didn't recognize him. They didn't care that he was the Black Panther director and making the most popular movie of all time. You know, all black men look alike and they're all robbers and they don't need to wear ski masks. They just need to put in a note. Nick Fuentes of AFPAC, the far right organization, would be like, yeah, they did the bank. What did the bank do wrong, Tom? What did the bank do wrong? Tom Reynolds, what did the bank do wrong? I'll tell you what the bank did wrong. They didn't fucking read. Please, I have $12,000 I'd like to take out of my account. Please be discreet. Count the money somewhere else. Oh, we have the note on the screen. I will read it again. I would like to withdraw $12,000 cash from my checking account. It did not say, I want you to give me $12,000 cash. He said, from my checking account. Handed along with a withdrawal slip. Please do the money count somewhere else. I'd like to be discreet. And what did the bank go and do? They were the exact opposite of discreet. They went batshit crazy. They went batshit crazy. They were the exact opposite of discreet. The report added that the police detained the two people waiting outside in the SUV and then brought Kugler out in handcuffs. This is my bank, Bank of America. And these are the same people who I had to take my mask off to prove that I was myself because they started, ma'am, this isn't your account. You're not Thomas Reynolds. Let me take my mask off for you, and you could see my ID. And these people do not, they make assumptions, split minute assumptions, and they don't think, and it's everywhere. It's not, it would be too easy just to say it's because he's black, but I know the triggering effect was because he's black. They didn't read the note. See, this is what we've talked about on the show. Do you hear me when I speak? Do you listen when I speak? You can hear me all day long, but do you listen? Do you like the FYI Nation page? Do you subscribe to the FYI Nation? Do you tweet out hashtag FYI Live for participation? Are you hearing me say that? And yada, yada, yada. And that's all you hear? You're like the womp, 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 Charlie Brown? Or are you actually listening? It's like, pay attention. Like, what? Do they all have what's the excuse? Bank of America. What's the excuse for all this rigmarole? And Lebanon, please, due diligence here. Oh, it was all big on misunderstanding. Oh, all big on misunderstanding. Oh. Are we joking here? Is this a joke? Are we kidding? Are you what the actual fuck? The whole not swearing thing is just out the window, by the way. We got a break coming up soon, so I'll condense this a little bit. But this is hashtag Black Lives Matter written all over it. The situation never should have happened, Kugler said to Variety. And he's absolutely right. The situation never should have happened. Read the note. And Bank of America deeply regrets what they did. They deeply regret being idiots and not knowing how to read. It never should have happened, and we should apologize to Mr. Kugler. And I hope Mr. Kugler, and this is a Bank of America customer saying this, I hope Mr. Kugler said, I'm taking my money elsewhere. I'm going to Wells Fargo. I'm going to Chase. I'm going TD Bank. I'm going somewhere the fuck else with my money, honey. You do not get to do this to me today. Nick Fuente's AAF pack. We got the video later. We're going to play it with Tara Devlin. Tara Devlin's coming on at 9 o'clock. You can call into the show too, by the way. And I'm going to put the number up. But for those who want the number is 203 902 8696. 203 902 8696. Hashtag FYI Live. Do you listen? Do you pay attention? It's an honest question. I'm just asking the question. I'm not trying to be rude or an asshole or anything like that. I'm asking the question. Do you read? Do you pay attention to when you're supposed to? Do you actually do that? Or do you just la-ti-die it? I la-ti-die it. I don't always read it through when I should. I don't always do my due diligence. It gets me in a lot of trouble on a regular basis. But on top of race, this is like poor thinking skills. Like nobody had their thinking caps on. The note is very clear. Like I read it the first time from the Hills report, and I was like, okay, be discreet. Take it out of my checking account. He did everything right except that he was black. He did everything right except that he was black. That was his doubt. That was his fault. Wow, that came up fast. We will be right back. And that worked this time. So that's always nice. Stay tuned for more stuff. And stay with me. We'll be right back. And no, it didn't. I only heard the sound. We'll be right back anyway. It played, but it didn't go out. That technical issue that I'm going to fix. We'll be right back.
I'm Rick Smith, and this is Labor History in 2. On this day in labor history, the year was 1910. That was the day miners in Westmoreland County, Pennsylvania, struck for union recognition and the 8-hour workday. They hoped to beat back deep wage cuts and out-of-pocket costs for safety equipment and explosives. As many as 15,000 miners went on strike against 65 mines. Thousands were immediately evicted from company housing. The UMWA helped to set up tent cities. Area coal companies imported immigrant strikebreakers who had little understanding of English or why they were being hired. When they tried to quit and leave company housing, coal company police beat them back to work, refusing to let them leave until they paid the cost of relocation. The situation was so bad that the House Committee on Labor held hearings as to whether workers were being forced into peonage. Injunctions were enforced against strikers picketing on public property near the mines. Many were arrested for simply traveling along public roads. Strikers were also denied access to many municipal services whose facilities were on coal company property. Hundreds of strikers were arrested for trespassing and their leaders held on charges of conspiracy and intimidation. They were routinely harassed, beaten, and fired upon by sheriff's deputies, state troops, and the coal and iron police. Over the course of the strike, more than a dozen strikers and their family members were killed at the hands of security and police forces. The strike wore on through the brutal winter of 1910-1911. Hunger and disease spread throughout the tent cities. After 15 months, the UMWA called off the strike. The union was broke from disbursement of strike funds, and many blacklisted strikers had to leave the state to find work. Like what you hear? Check out more at laborhistoryin2.com.
Perfectly fine. See, we're fixing things as we go here on the show. You just have to bear with me as we do it. Things will be fixed. And I have too many windows up. I have way too many windows. I was looking at all my windows and like, oh my God, Tom, too many windows, Tom. What you doing here, Tom? You got so many windows. So many windows. And I just opened another one that I didn't. It was needlessly opened. Needlessly opening a window. So this next story from Breitbart. Outrage. Outrage alert, everybody. You must be outraged. Cue the outrage. 203-902-8320. 696 is the call-in number to be outraged with me. You must be outraged. Gotta be mad. Gotta be mad. You got to be angry. No border wall. No border wall funding from the Democrats. They did not want to fund that border wall. These what is wrong with the Democrats that they don't want to just fund the damn wall? The Trump wall. Why don't they like Donald Trump? Why will they not continue our bad policy? Why continue bad policy? Why continue bad policy? Because they're smarter than the average bear? I guess would be nice. So this story from Breitbart. A GOP Dem spending bill finds border signatory for 8 foreign countries. Border security. Signatory does not make sense. Signatory is something you have on a bank. See, I got to get out of the bank story, Tom. We're moving on. So, let me get the right window here. Yay, pick the right window, Tom. We're in the right window. We're in the right church. All the organs are ready to play. And we're gonna do it. We're gonna have a show. And this Breitbart story. The outrageousness of it. 8 foreign countries, man. 8 foreign countries. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 foreign countries are getting border security. And the USA is getting nothing. No Trump wall. The horror. The government funding package spends $370 million in taxpayer money to enhanced border security in Jordan, Lebanon, Egypt, Tunisia, Oman, and at least $150 million allocated to Jordan's borders. Let's be honest, we don't know where they are. There's some oil-rich countries. Brown people live there. What do they need security for? We just round them up and detain them. Come on. We don't need to be giving them security. Don't you know you just round up and detain these people, for Christ's sake? That's what you do. No border wall for you. We can't have the border wall. No border wall for you. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. Can't have the border wall. And the outrage continues. The Republicans were able to preserve nearly $2 billion in previously allocated border wall construction funds. So what are you whining about? You still got $2 billion for the Trump Taj Mahal border wall. But it does not include any new border wall funding. The outrage. A Democratic controlled Congress is not giving the GOP what they want. Outrage. 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 You must be angry. This is why Kevin McCarthy, the dumbest person in Washington, should be Speaker of the House. The idiot du jour. True punishment is having to speak with Kevin McCarthy for 5 minutes. When he's leader, continue the joke, Tom. When he's leader, he can make the decisions. What translation? When Donald Trump runs the show, because Kevin McCarthy is a fucking idiot, then we'll have Trump making the decisions in the House. While funding border overseas, President Joe Biden has halted all border wall construction along the U.S. Mexico border, gutted interior immigration enforcement, and attempted to end the anti asylum fraud Remain in Mexico program. As a result, more than 2 million border crossings and illegal aliens. Da, da, da. These brown people. These brown people are all coming here for our peace and freedom. Why are these brown people coming here for our peace and freedom? We can't have it. Breitbart is so angry. This Breitbart story, oozing anger and outrage. No border wall. They gotta climb the wall to get them to America, damn it. They can't just come here. What do you think this is? An In-N-Out burger? McDonald's? Where you could just have it your way? Oh, that's Burger King. Just that's McDonald's. It's tough to get all these monikers right. This is why we don't do advertising on FYNation.com. Hashtag FYI Live if you want to tweet us. 203-902-8696 if you want to call us and express your outrage. Notice the theme here in this hour. Racism is alive and well. Hashtag Black Lives Matter. Just saying. And Black Lives means brown people too. They really hate that. They really hate that. They get really angry. They get really frustrated. They can't have that. And I'm done being nice, Tom Reynolds, about this. I'm done having my door open to the conservative who sometimes gets it right. The door's closed. The door is padlocked. Officially. No more feeling guilty for the little Republican who should when they won't. Fuck them and the horse they rode in on. Because they want shit like this. They all read the Breitbart and they all get outraged. And it goes on to the Blaze, and then it goes on to the Free Beacon, and they're all outraged because this is something you can't be outraged. It's not about racism, Tom. What are you saying to your audience that it's about racism? This isn't about Black Lives Matter, Tom. This is about border security. This is about keeping us safe. Don't you want to be safe, Tom? Don't you want to be secure? Isn't this something you want? Why don't you want to be secure, Tom? What's your problem here, Tom? You should be happy that we want to take control of our border. A border wall that they can climb right over. By the way, if I were president, I would give, if you climbed over the border wall to get here, automatic citizenship. Ding, citizenship. Ding, citizenship. Automatic citizenship. Climb over that border wall, baby. Let me see you work for America. Let me see you go get it. I don't care that you came here illegally. I care that you came here and climbed a border wall. Because you wanted it bad. You didn't want it just like to have it. You wanted it to grab onto it by the pussy, as Donald Trump would say. Hundreds of thousands of border crossers and illegal aliens are being released into the U.S. interior every few months. From January 2021 to August 2021, for example, more than 500,000 were released into the USA. Those brown people. Those black people. from Honduras and Haiti who speak broken English. We can't have them. 203-902-8696. 203-902-8696 is the number to give us a call. A temporary number. You could also text us at this number. Watching the show later, text me what you think. Am I not outraged enough? How ugly am I? Huh. Just kidding. But at least I admit it, right? I'm not like, oh, I'm so pretty on the camera. No. Talk about shattering a barrier. But I kid. Tara Devlin is gonna kick my ass. She is gonna rip me to shreds for that one. But you must be outraged. And again, the right will frame it. We are not racist. We want a secure border. See, this is what Nick Fuentes doesn't understand. Nick Fuentes just goes on a tangent about how the border wall is so, and this one, it didn't even play the sound. Well, we're going to skip through a break until I can get this to work. Now it didn't even play. It didn't even play the sound. I thought I fixed it, and it didn't even play the sound. Well, we found that out real quick, didn't we, folks? Let's see. Let's see. Folks. I don't know how to make this work. That's really pissing me off. So I guess what I'll do is if it doesn't work this time, I will play it automatically. I just got to pay attention to the pop-up window that pops up, and we'll just do it that way. We'll do it manually, do it, but we'll run over this break because I don't feel like doing a break. And this is what I get for trying to be more organized. Tom Reynolds tries to be more organized and fucks it up. Oh my god. But the border wall, man, you gotta be angry. You gotta beat that drum. You gotta beat that drum. And it's not it's not about, if you're thinking it's about race, you're wrong. It's not about race. It's about border security. They are trying to secure the border for the American people. They are trying to keep you safe. Stop thinking it's about race. They say on the right. We are not racist. We just want a secure American border. And that's a message the dumbass American, low information voter, Trump supporter can get behind. I'm not racist. I just want to keep the black and brown. Wait, no. 203-902-8696. Give me a call. Text me. Hashtag FYI Live. You could leave a comment in the comment section of the thing. Let me know you're watching. I did get a like on the video. Thank you for the like. That's always appreciated. Although I can't see the person watching to know that they're actually watching. So maybe I'll turn that on for the YouTube and check that way. But this is so frustrating, right? We have these people, these people who just want to come here for freedom and peace and they just want to be here to be Americans. They want the American dream that they're told by these right wingers exists. But what they're not told is it doesn't exist for you. Right? It does not exist for you. You right winger, you son of a bitch. It only exists for me. If you're and this is how bad it is. They didn't. Their front page story is this story about the border wall. That's why you need to be viciously outraged about it. And please don't think, please, 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 don't come here and tell me that it's about race. You're not allowed to do that because it's not. We're just here for border security. Never mind, we're trying to keep those black people from coming in. Never mind that. You can't pay attention to that part of the equation. I don't know why the streamer part doesn't always tell me what's going on in the right way. But leave a message in the chat, and as soon as it does pop up, I will notify you. Just comment down below. Here, it shows you. I'll put it on the screen. Live viewer comments show up on StreamYard. This is an example. And click on it to show the screen. See, this is what we can do. And I want to show more of these. So you comment, we'll display it and go from there. Hashtag FYI Live also. And we'll read your tweets if you want to tweet us. But this outrage, the constant narrative of what you got to be outraged about, what you got to be mad about, this constant drumbeat of we're just trying to help the down and out American. We're not trying to do anything else. It's nauseating. It's truly nauseating. And it's scary that that's where we're at. And it's frustrating that that's where we're at. So be frustrated with me. Let's talk about a good story, shall we? Let's go to our good story. I love this story. This story is awesome. It's about a drag queen, and you're supposed to be outraged. You're supposed to be outraged for the Democrats. Is who you're supposed to. I love the outrage machine. They pick winners and losers all the time on the right of who you're supposed to be outraged for and who you're supposed to be outraged against. And it's like the drag queen is actually saying what Republicans would say about Joe Biden. They're saying what Republicans would say. The House Democrats retreat. Must be nice to have a retreat when you're in power. You know, just have a retreat. I'm more outraged about that they got a goddamn retreat. What do they need a retreat for? Somebody explain that one to me. Take away this ad here if my mouse will cooperate. What are they? By the way, not a bad looking drag queen. But see couple things about this. Couple things. The conservatives don't differentiate drag and transgender. They don't. You can't. It's all or nothing with them. There's no differentiation with it. So there's that. And the other thing is the other thing is you have the outrage alert for the Democrats where what are they doing? The hypocrisy. So the House Democrats retreat this week. A Wednesday night reception hosted by Democratic Congressional Campaign Committee Chair Sean Patrick Maloney will include, and I think Lady Bunny was in RuPaul's Drag Race, but I'm not sure. Musical entertainment by Lady Bunny, according to a copy of the issue of conference schedule posted by the Daily Caller. Well, see, they cross post and they get everything all, so everybody's outraged. Just like I was talking about the Breitbart story, they get everybody outraged. You're all got to be outraged. You got to be mad. It's all moving parts here, folks. You got to be outraged that this drag queen is going to be at the Democratic retreat. But you got to be outraged because of what she said, and we got to have cancel culture because of what she said. And the Democrats, why are the Democrats canceling her? Oh, maybe because we put things aside after elections, and people say things during elections, even though they might be difficult to hear about other Democrats. I say things about Democrats that might be difficult to hear about other Democrats. Hashtag FYI Live if you want to tweet us, or if you want to leave a comment, sir. And we have a comment. Jim, my first nosy liberal. Yay. Jim, welcome to the show. Hope you stay. Please like the FYI Nation page if you haven't already, and I'm pretty sure you have because you commented. You seem like you're smart. I have a great smart audience. By the way, Monday at 10:30 a.m., Tom Hartman will be with us. That's gonna be fun. Talk about fun. And I don't mean fun in a like sarcastic kind of way either. I mean in a good kind of way. And Jim says thanks. See, I love this posting thing that I can do so we can communicate. The communication is so awesome. So this drag queen lady bunny is here, and you got to be outraged, and you got to be really uh mad. And Jim is a Terra Buster convert. Awesome. I will try to get up to everybody's comments, I promise, and keep up. But I love Tara, and Tara's going to be on the show at 11 o'clock, so you need to stick around. Tara Devlin will be on at 11 o'clock. Almost forgot to say. She confirmed. Um, I am much better in the morning than I am late in the evening. While her mind may be in the gutter, Lady Bunny's quick-witted humor is authentic, smart, irreverent, and topical. A portion of the biography on the LadyBunny.net site states. In her disarming uh, drawl, the astutely skewers political correctness, calling out gentrification outrage, split roast politicians, transplanted celebrities, and schools and audiences on the unique legacy of the New York City drag. This is what I want in a drag queen, man. I want this. Why would I be outraged as a Democrat? Because she said some things about Hillary Clinton. A lot of people say some things about Hillary Clinton. I say some things about Hillary Clinton. Clinton should not run again. Clinton should not run again. Jim says, I'm still not sure how anybody's sexual or gender expression is any of my business. Well, that's exactly right. When it becomes like I'm non-binary, when it becomes your problem, that's your problem. Not my problem. The fact that you have an issue with Lady Bunny or anything else, it not my fault. I had nothing to do with that. And we got more bots in the chat too, which I hate. We got Russian bots. Oy vey. But the the drag performer is a staunch progressive. John Ingle. And this just shows the Democrats, this article shows me the Democratic Party is willing to heal. Biden is senile conservative accused by 8 women and a frequent liar. It takes a cult of personality to support someone that pitiful, Lady Bunny tweeted last year. I would love to have Lady Bunny on the show to discuss that. I'm a progressive too. I don't believe the innuendo about sexual overtones with I don't think he's Andrew or Chris Cuomo, basically. You know? Um she tweeted that. So you need to be outraged for that. In January, um she said about Hillary Clinton, if the Dems go this route, they are begging to lose. What will the slogan be? We know Joe's a corporate hawk and a liar, but unlike Biden, Hillary's not senile. Now, again, I don't think, look, I am a big supporter of Joe Biden. I have been. I've been really vocal about it because I think he's been the kind of leadership you can change. You can have this point where you can have a difference of opinion, but I don't think he's senile. To me, that's ageist. And just as political identity is way more important to me than gender or sexual identity. I
Climate Connections. A steel plant in Pueblo, Colorado is using the power of the sun to turn recycled scrap metal into train rails.
Colorado is known for several things. One is sunshine. So it was really just an ideal place for a solar farm and just made a lot of sense.
David Ferryman is with the Pueblo unit of Evraz North America, the company that owns the plant. He says globally, most steel is made in big, high-temperature blast furnaces using iron ore and coal. That process generates a huge amount of carbon pollution, which increases global warming. But in the US, the majority of steel is made from recycled scrap metal. That process can be powered by more efficient electric furnaces.
From an environmental perspective, there's much less carbon produced in electric arc furnaces versus blast furnaces.
But the process still uses a lot of electricity, which typically comes from burning fossil fuels. So to reduce its climate impact, the Pueblo facility has turned to renewables. An on-site solar farm will now offset about 90% of the plant's electricity use. So it's demonstrating one path toward a greener future for steel. Climate Connections is produced by the Yale Center for Environmental Communication. To hear more stories like this, visit climateconnections.org.
Hey, ho, ho, we're back. Hi, welcome to the show. We're here. Jim was saying before the break, let's see, political identity is way more important to me than gender and sexual identity. And I agree. I was saying that I agreed before the break, and I agree now. What should be important to people should be the political identity. And you could lean very far left in my I will take a very far left person over a right winger any day. Because the far left person will be honest with me. The right winger will give me talking points, like this story is talking about. They want you to be outraged. You should be outraged that one Lady Bunny is a drag queen. You should be outraged that two Lady Bunny has some things to say about Joe Biden. Things, by the way, that people who read the Blaze agree with. They agree with. Now we could have a. I think Hillary won the last election. I think she'll win again. I don't think that Hillary would be a bad person to run again because she knows she can turn it around on Trump a lot better. And I don't mind. Look, I don't mind having somebody who's a corporatist who might listen to the progressive, like Bernie Sanders, a lot better than la 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 la. I'm a Republican. I'm Ted Cruz. I'm la 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 la. I can't listen to you. La 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 la. Than that game. That little selfish prick. And I'm talking about most Republicans. I know I was one. And it angers me that the Daily Caller took this and they ran with it, and the Blaze ran with it. And again, it's outrageous. Oh, drag queens, but gender norms are being broken. Blah blah blah. But they can't have this person who's a progressive. This just shows we're a big tent, and we welcome anybody to the table. Is what it shows. Jim says, it would be nice if somebody under 70 ran. I am totally cool with that. I look, I would love somebody under 70 to run. That would be totally awesome. But old people have good ideas too. My mom's 78. My mom is on it. My mom, thanks to her and her 78-year-old ass, we have new technology right now to do FYNation.com. And so I can run my business. Now, some would say she's senile for lending me money. But I won't. I love my mom, and rightly so. That being said, let's go to Ted Cruz, a guy who I don't love, never will love, can't stand, and occasionally, like a clock, gets it right. Occasionally, like a clock, gets it right. And we had this discussion last night on Terrabuster. Just because a Republican gets it right does not give a Republican a pass for all the times they got it wrong. You hear me, folks? All the times they got it wrong does not give them a pass. It hardens the reserve against them, because then they can do better and be better. If I want a Republican, I want a Republican like my grandfather when he was alive, or an Eisenhower Republican. Give me one of those old school Republicans who believed in unions and healthcare and everything else. Give me one of those. These neocons and these Trumpanzees, fuck them. Fuck them right in the ear. And these evangelical monsters who only believe in praise or prosperity mumbo jumbo because it goes to their narrative. So let's bring this up. Here's the Ted Cruz clip.
Every week, I fly back and forth to Houston. Almost without exception, every time I'm on an airplane, either the captain or a flight attendant will come up to me, will hug me and say, thank you for fighting for us. Because I'll tell you, United Airlines, sadly, Houston's a hub of them, has fired thousands of pilots and flight attendants. What difference does it make? We're in the District of Columbia right now. There are mandates affecting kids in D.C. This is wrong.
Mandates are wrong. And I'm fighting for you. And the pilots tell me I'm fighting for you. No, I'm totally okay with mandates. I'm totally okay with companies making a decision or governments making a decision and saying this is what you can and cannot do for the public health and the public good. Because it's an all or nothing approach, because you have this is the same reason you have to have warning labels on certain items. because some moron will touch the hot stove and then go, ow. There is that one person, usually me. Just kidding. But there is that one person. Jim says prosperity gospel is literally the religion of exploitive capitalism. Absolutely. Absolutely. It's a get-rich-quick scheme, just like the Republican Party. And no wonder they go hand in hand. Ted Cruz is he's a prosperity creature. Trying to figure out a good word for Ted Cruz. There are really no good words that you can think of for Ted Cruz. Slime bucket comes to mind. And I'm desperately trying not to call names, but you know what? I think I have to let those shackles be free. Because this is I gotta stoop down to their level because this is all they hear. It goes back to what I was saying before. Do you hear me or is it yada, yada, yada? And you're not listening. If like Jim is listening. Jim is commenting. We're having a dialogue. I need more Jim in my life. You know, I love the dialogue. By the way, you can call in at 203-902-8696. Tara Devlin will be with us. This is why I love having guests on the program too, because having guests on the program make it more fun for me. And I get out of my nerves. My nerves are
FYI Nation can now be heard on your favorite Android or Apple phone. Simply go to FYINation.com and scan the QR code at the bottom of the page to download the app. FYINation.com radio player app is commercial-free thanks to your Patreon contributions at FYINation.com. If you have a smart device, you can also listen to FYINation.com as a skill on your Alexa or Google Home smart devices. FYI Nation now has more ways than ever to listen to shows like mine, the Thom Hartmann Program, commercial-free every day.
It's Tuesday, March 8, 2022.
We have to ensure that they don't generate unmanageable risks to energy supplies in European countries and beyond.
EU moves to cut dependence on Russian gas imports.
The plant spokesman warned of a real threat of nuclear danger from the attack.
Russian takeover of Ukraine nuclear plant underscores nuclear vulnerability in wartime. Plus,
cheers erupted at the United Nations Environment Assembly in Nairobi as 175 nations agreed to clean up the mess.
United Nations to create legally binding treaty to end global plastic pollution.
I'll believe it when I see it. All of those stories and more straight ahead from BradBlog.com. I'm Brad Friedman.
And I'm Desi Doyen.
Stand by for 6 minutes of independent green news, politics, analysis, and snarky comment.
Actually, I see no inconsistency, by the way, in moving away from dependency on Russian hydrocarbons to moving away from dependency on hydrocarbons altogether.
Well, neither do I, Boris Johnson. Nice to hear from a non-insane conservative. Sad how they went extinct in the U.S. This is your Green News Report.
I'm gonna soak up the sun.
Okay, Desi Doyen, as I understood it, everything was now okay, at least the danger passed at that nuclear power plant that was under fire in Ukraine. you got an update?
Yes, we do. In the wake of the Russian military's harrowing attack on Ukraine's largest nuclear power plant late last week, the International Atomic Energy Agency says it is still negotiating with Russia to allow in experts to help manage the safety of all of Ukraine's nuclear power facilities. Although no radiation releases were detected in that initial attack, the Director General of the IAEA on Monday said that Russia's military assault on the power plant destroyed a small neutron generator in a building on the grounds in violation of international protection rules. Again, no radiation was released, but it was a serious, serious fire. The incident has triggered global alarm about the vulnerabilities of nuclear plants to wartime attacks. Meanwhile, benchmark oil prices are surging as traders react to the growing prospect of Western sanctions on Russian oil and gas exports that indirectly fund Russia's invasion of Ukraine.
React or capitalize on?
A bipartisan group of lawmakers in Congress say they've agreed on legislation that would bar Russian oil imports to the U.S., even though it would further spike gasoline prices. But European Union governments, dependent on Russia for about a third of their energy needs,
Probably not a good idea.
on Tuesday announced a plan to cut their reliance on Russian gas 2/3 by the end of this year. In a Monday press conference, British Prime Minister Boris Johnson cautioned that a full phase out will take time, but it is the goal.
You can't simply close down use of oil and gas overnight. Clearly, there is going to be a transitional period. We're going to have to look for supply. We're going to have to look for substitute supplies from elsewhere, and we're going to have to do it together.
The UN International Energy Agency released a 10-point plan this week to cut Europe's dependence on Russian gas imports by about a third over the coming year. And they would do that by speeding up the replacement of gas-fired boilers with next-generation electric heat pumps, as Norway has done. The IEA projects that if the U.S. and other countries did the same, the more heat pumps that are installed year after year would increase the global supply of gas and displace Russian exports.
Moving from boilers to heat pumps can cut gas usage by a third?
Because they're all electric.
We should all do that.
Indeed. White House Press Secretary Jen Psaki on Monday debunked attempts by Republicans, the American Petroleum Institute, and right-wing media to exploit the war in Ukraine for political purposes in demanding the release of more public lands for drilling and weaker regulations. Psaki said that federal policies are not preventing the oil and gas industry from increasing production right now on their existing stockpile of approved permits, but that transitioning away from fossil fuels is the smart strategy.
Right now, there are 9,000 unused approved permits to drill onshore. So I think you're misidentifying what the actual issue is. But if we're looking to the future and what we can do to prevent this from being a challenge in future crises, the best thing we can do is reduce our dependence on fossil fuels and foreign oil so that we're not worried about the whims of a foreign dictator.
Finally, some good news. The United Nations Environment Assembly late last week adopted an historic resolution aimed at ending the scourge of plastic pollution. They agreed to a framework to develop the world's first ever legally binding treaty to address the global plastic pollution problem due by the end of 2024. The new treaty would restrict the explosive growth of plastic pollution and its impacts over the entire plastics life cycle, from design to production to disposal. But there is a divide between major plastics producers like the fossil fuel industry, who want governments to focus on waste management and recycling,
Of course.
while the European Union and developing nations are aiming to reduce plastic production itself.
Good. Let's go with that one. For much more on all of these stories and the ones we couldn't get to today, check out our website at greennews.bradblog.com. I'm Brad Friedman.
And I'm Desi Doyen.
And this has been your Green News Report.
Clean up, clean up. Girls and boys, let's clean up, clean up, clean up.
Welcome back to the show. It is the second hour. You have arrived. You survived the first hour. You get a cookie. I am giving away cookies. I am the Cookie Monster. The Cookie Monster eats your cookies, doesn't give them away, doesn't. It is what it is. Backwards, opposite day today, opposite day. In a good mood. Thank you for the watchers, the Tara Buster converts. Tara Devlin is going to be on the show at 11 o'clock in the 11 o'clock hour. We're going to talk about Nick Fuentes. I have some video for her. We're going to talk about Don't Say Gay. We're going to talk about some other stuff. I have a lot of stuff for her to riff off of, and it's just going to be an amazing hour. So there's that. My apologies for the technical mishaps. I do everything myself, and as Jim said in the comments while we were talking back and forth during the break, I don't have a cat producer, unfortunately. It's me, the non-binary extraordinaire producer, and so you're kind of stuck with what you got, and I'm glad you're here. And what you got is the Nosey Liberal, and it's a good thing. I love doing the show. I love talking with you. I love the listeners at FYINation.com. Now, I have to warn you guys, what we're going to play in this hour is traumatic. Okay? I'm joking, but it's traumatic for conservatives. And it was on Fox News. Some producer somewhere fell down and hit their head. And I need to call 911 for them, because this is not usually the type of message from anyone that you're allowed to get clearly, concisely, and effortlessly across on the Fox News. Like, this is something that usually you will get here or Tara Buster or anywhere the fuck else, but not Fox News. So I am worried about that there's a producer out there. There's a Fox News producer who fell down and hit their head and just is bleeding out because they had some Obama advisor on, Robert Wolf, and he told the truth. He told the actual truth. What's going on, Fox News? What producer got hurt? What producer lost a bet? This is insane. The truth. Radio Wawanda. Truth. I mean, every once in a while, you'll accidentally fart in an elevator, and it happens. We all don't like to admit it, but it's there, and it smells, and no, everybody's no, can't handle that. But oh my God, Fox News. I have 2 clips. So my progressive friends are going to love this. The conservatives are going to have their heads explode, because this is not Fox News talking points or Newsmax or OANN. No, sorry, no. Donald Trump would rather kill a windmill than talk about this shit. The truth. And I just absorb it and love it so goddamn much. I really do. I cannot have enough of it. The truth. The truth shall set you free. And Robert Wolf first talked about Trump oil buying and the realism of what's going on in the world, and brought some facts to the table. And this was on the Fox News. And then he talked about Keystone XL, and I have both clips. This was on yesterday. They're trying to have this narrative: Biden bad on oil. Biden is being attacked by the progressive wing of the party. Blah, blah, blah. And I have the other clip from Jim Jordan. All week they've been doing this. All week for their narrative, because it takes a while for that narrative to sink in and go in and sink into the low information Republican. Right? They need that pressurized conduit of just force feeding it in the hole. Just gotta push it in. We're liberals and progressives are free thinkers. We like nuance. We might even get along with a Republican or a centrist Democratic person. It might actually happen. But Republicans, they need that. They need that prosperity gospel, i.e., politics and religion. And Robert Wolf was not having any of it. And it was beautiful. And I loved it. I mean, oh my God, you're going to love this. The producer, I think, got fired over this, but you are going to love this because holy shit, the truth on Fox News.
A bit, but in 2020 and 2019, during the Trump administration, as you know, there wasn't as much oil being drilled because oil was at $30 a barrel, and that was a negative ROI, which is also why during the Trump administration, they were averaging 15 to 20,000 barrels a month buying from Russia. So let's not make believe that Biden started this buying from Russia. Actually, it started in 2005. So this idea is becoming a joke.
So there's that. This idea is becoming a joke. This Robert Wolf is telling the truth about how oil works and how the system works on Fox News. And it's so beautiful. And he goes on, and there's more. There is more. Let's be honest here. This is beautiful.
Let's start facts. Facts are that oil companies don't look to drill when it's below $30 a barrel. Now above 100.
Look, see? Facts. They don't drill when it's below because they don't make money. Supply and demand. I mean, it's basic. I can grasp it. And yes, I just called myself basic, and I'm okay with that because, look, didn't graduate high school or didn't graduate college, barely graduated high school. I'm that low information Republican former voter. But I know a lot about politics and Star Trek and The Sopranos. Those are my wheelhouses. But this is basic supply and demand. You have a high supply and a low cost, you're not going to drill. And it's the truth Robert Weiss is talking about.
I would respectfully disagree with Marco Rubio. Actually, you'll see oil companies looking to frack and drill like there's no tomorrow with their permits.
Okay, I have
a bit.
She was so like, how did we get this guy on? I think that was Martha McCollum who had him on. How did we? Okay, you too much truth. We can't have the truth. It bleeds into our narrative. We're trying to sell a narrative here, folks. We're trying to push this narrative. You cannot be neglectful or ignore or anything of the narrative. You have to push the narrative. If Trump says windmills cause cancer, run with it. It pushes the narrative. Doesn't matter that he's wrong. It pushes the narrative. Windmills cause cancer. Windmills fall apart. Windmills bad. Not enough wind unless Donald Trump farts. And all school children run for this hills because, oh my God, Donald Trump farted in the wind. See what I did there? You're listening and watching the Nosey Liberal. 203-902-8696 to give us a call. Hashtag FYI Live to tweet us. You get the truth here. They don't like that truthiness. She didn't like it. Like, I think that woman, who I think is, I can't remember which Fox News whore she is. I think she beat up the producer and made the producer pay for having him on. because she was aggravated. You could tell in that short little bit that she was just like, "Are you fucking kidding me, man? Are you telling me this shit, man? Are you kidding me? We can't have this. We can't have the truth." What was that line? "You can't handle the truth." The Fox News viewers. Their fragile little brains can't handle the truth. They'll break apart with knowledge. That's why Donald Trump's love came out and said it. Like he opened the door to everybody. I love the low information voters. Why not? I could get away with fucking murder. And Jim, I love this comment. Jim, you just won the comment of the day. Number 23, interchangeable blonde Fox News whore. Jim, you just won the commenting of the day. Thank you for your subscription, by the way, to the YouTube. That is always amazing. If you are a new subscriber and a Tara Buster convert, thank you. Tara will be on at 11 o'clock with us, and we're going to
Insight Daily Radio. Matthew Desmond is a Harvard professor, sociologist, and recent MacArthur Genius Fellowship winner who's written a striking account of a severe and rapidly developing form of economic hardship in America. Entitled Evicted, his new book is a portrait of a widespread and worsening housing crisis and the devastating consequences for families that fall behind and lose the very roof over their heads.
What's kind of amazing when you do this work is you learn just how open a lot of people are about their lives and how honest they are and willing to share their story. And following tenants getting evicted and following them into homeless shelters or abandoned homes and watching the effects of their children, it was heartbreaking. You know, there was a time the research left me depressed and really wrestling with what I was seeing in these desperate, very hard situations. But I also have to say it was humbling and inspiring to see people's strength and their guts and their ingenuity and their ability to face these incredible odds and these incredible challenges day in and day out. And what I learned is that, you know, when you start off doing work like this, you think that the hard part is going to be meeting people, getting in. But after, you know, years of field work, I learned that the hard part is leaving, is getting out, because you become attached to people and you see how gracefully they refuse to be reduced to their hardships. You know, poverty has not prevailed over the people's hearts and their deep humanity.
That's Harvard sociologist Matthew Desmond on his powerful new book entitled Evicted, which has just been released. Want to get involved? There's more online at justshelter.org. Insight Daily Radio.
Okay, we are back and we are live, and thank you. I need more gems. We got another clip we're going to talk about, but this drill baby drill hill story we're going to touch on in a minute and go from there, because it correlates with what we're talking about and the narrative, and you can't. It doesn't fit with the narrative that the right wants you to believe, right? That we're just all they're environmentalist wackos. If only that were the case, right? If only that were the truth. You could give us a call at 203-902-8696, 203-902-8696. Call into the show if you so choose. You could tweet us, leave a comment. We will reply to the comments on air and show them like we did with Jim's comment and interchangeable blonde Fox News whore number 23. He has the number 23. There's that. Yeah, not wrong there, Jim. But they weren't. They were not. They gave pushback. It wasn't friendly. But little friendly fire here, and it is interesting to watch. The right wing go batshit crazy. Here is the next clip from Robert Wolf telling the truth. Just bear with me.
A bit, but in 2020 and 2019, during the
Same one. My apologies. Oh.
A bit, but in 2020.
Hold on. I had an issue. We're going to fix it. The clip was put in wrong, so just bear with me. There we go. Let's fix producer issue.
All right, so if that's not going to happen, Robert, perhaps, as Peter just reported, perhaps opening up the Keystone pipeline is not off the table for this White House. What did you take away from that?
I think XL is off the table. Let's recall a few things. One, it's the worst type of oil you can have. It's tar sands going from Alberta to the Gulf of Mexico. It wasn't going to really change anything to do with our oil supply. It was to export from the Gulf of Mexico. Also recall that under President Trump, well, let me just fit. Okay, it's not.
That's debatable. You love that? She chimes in there. We can't have that actual newsy talking point in there that is truthful. We can't have you tell the truth on the air. It's tar sands, it's dirty oil, it's Canadian oil, it's not American, it's just moving oil. There are already ways to do it. You cannot have the truth. The blonde whore of Fox News is shilling for the big oil. Shilling for the big oil. My apologies on the clip. I thought I loaded both, but apparently I had a little mishap there. You got to see how the sausage is made, and if you're watching, and sometimes the sausage isn't coming out the way it should. But there's more. She pushes back, and then he pushes back, which is great. With this.
Not actually debatable. It has nothing to do with oil fields. It's a pipeline, and it was going to end the Gulf of Mexico. That's a fact. You should look it up. And with respect to President Trump, as Stephen will tell you, only 10%.
That's a fact. You should look it up. Oh, destroying the narrative on the Fox News. The producer fell down and hit their head. Somebody check up on the producer because the blonde woman, and look how mad that other guy is. I can't remember his name. He's an economist on Fox News, a regular contributor. He looks so pissed. He looks very angry because his narrative is being destroyed like the Keystone XL pipeline. It's beautiful.
Some of it was even done under his 4 years. So it's not about XL. It's about how do we become energy independent. I've always been supportive of the all-in energy approach for actually 10 years now.
That's interesting, Steve, because Robert's making the case that it's regional, and the White House is making the case that oil prices are global. So if we increase the overall oil output, all right, so if that's not...
So there you have it. The truth comes out on the Fox News. The truth. And you could have regional and global issues collide, by the way, not for nothing. You can actually walk and chew gum at the same time. You can you could say you're all in for a Green New Deal and say, I need you to pump more oil for us right now. You could do both and still be an environmentalist, in my opinion. It only takes a tiny bit of truth to blow up the narrative, it's that week, Jim says. And absolutely. And that is another great point, Jim. You make a great point that their narrative is so weak that it only takes a little bit of truth and they get so angry. Like they get so outraged at their narrative being blown up and being accosted right in front of them. They get so mad, and it's so beautiful to watch because it doesn't happen that, like Alan Combs, when he was alive on Sean Hannity, he was there for fodder, cannon fodder. He didn't do it the way someone should. He did on his radio show. Like, he blew up the narrative on his Fox News radio show. But Alan Keyes was a little sock puppet on the Hannity show because it was the Hannity show. Hannity and Combs. Hannity is bigger, brighter, conservative. Combs is this little weak liberal. You can't, I mean, imagine if Tara Devlin was on Fox News against Hannity. She'd crucify him in like 20 seconds, and that producer would be fired for having Tara Devlin on. We're not going to take this break. See, this is a great thing about running your own show on your own network. You can decide. I have to move around for my back. You can decide when to take the breaks. That was our half-hour break. We only have, in the next hour, we only have one break, and I'll just let the music play. It's kind of the breaks. Let me explain the breaks for a minute because we don't run commercials on the breaks. The breaks allow me to do this: have a sip of soda, which I shouldn't do on the air, but I do anyway. It allows me to answer text messages and do my work for my job while I'm on the air. So the break is valuable to me as someone who has to, because we're not getting $40 a day through the Patreon to make it so I could do this full time. I need $40 a day. So we play the breaks so I can get other things done and bring up stories and communicate with you guys and kind of take myself out of the show, because when I'm doing the show, like, I don't want to think about all the other bells and whistles that go on to make the show, the radio part, the audio part, this, that, and the other thing. I want to think about what we're going to talk about next and continue to concentrate about the oil issue, the green energy issue, the Green New Deal issue. I want to continue to concentrate on that. I don't want to go into a tirade about, oh my God, the audio didn't work, I'm so sorry. That frustrates me so much and gets my anxiety up so much. You have no idea. And it makes it personal to me because I'm trying to do this show as professionally as possible. So the breaks allow me to fix things and maybe adjust myself because of my back and deal with other stuff. So that's why we had the breaks. And it gives me a moment, if I have to pee, to go do that. And gives you a moment, if you so choose, to download the app with the QR code that pops up on the screen. That's what the QR code is. The QR code is the app download doohickey to allow you to get the app from the iPhone App Store or the Apple Android App Store, the Google Play Store, and I fumbled that ball. So there's that. Somebody who didn't fumble the ball is Jennifer Granholm. Jennifer Granholm, I think, is doing what she needs to do in the position she has been given, and is calling for more oil production. And as Robert Wolf was saying, the Keystone XL narrative is a broken narrative. It does not push out more oil. Like all this oil that they're concerned about being moved around is already, it's being moved around. It's the and I'm preaching to the choir here. It's being moved around. So it's not like it's not like Joe Biden is putting his hand on the till and saying, you know what? No oil. No oil. And I want it $7 a gallon. And we're going to talk about that too. And Jim Jordan said that that's what Democratic Party people want. And that's a lie. And even if they do want $7 a gallon, let's say they do. The Democratic candidate or person who wants that also wants renewable energy to compensate for the price. They leave that bit of information out. Or they tell it as a fairy tale. Like, you can't actually do this. By the way, Mike Lindell update. Lindell is on a hiring spree for his Lindell TV. Like, we need another OAN. We talked about this on Tara Devlin's show, on Tara Buster. Literally, there is a grift pyramid in the Republican conservative side. And it all boils down to where you fall on the grift pyramid. On what network you're going to go on where you're going to get your message across, and how and who. And it's all giant grift. Like, I run a very small network, right? Tom Hartman does not need to come on my show to promote his book. But he's doing it. And he's been a guest on another show that I did when I had a show on the radio. And he did it because he's an affiliate of ours. And he's a great guy, and he has a great staff. Ron Placone is going to be on the show too. Robin Kincaid next week on the show. We're also going to have, who else? Jeff Waldorf from TYT and Around the Nation. They don't have to do this, but I reach out and I say, can you come on? And they'll say, yes. It's not a grift. Like, that's the difference between the Democratic Party and progressives and the Republicans. It's not a grift. It's not a get-rich-quick scheme. When you're a Democratic supporter, there's no grift. We don't make any money doing this. That's why you see people like Dana Lash go from being a liberal to a Republican. And Jim, you want more? On that next Monday, we have Desi Doyen. Tuesday, we will have Matt McNeil from AM 950. Again, AM 950, a Democratic, more corporate station in Minnesota. I do not care. We had Rick Smith on the broadcast. I do not care if I disagree with a Democratic person. I want them to be Democratic. That's my goal. Ron Placone is going to be on. I don't care that he's green. He has my integrity that I'm looking for. I will go around, called the Mike Lindell syndrome. I will go around to every progressive Democratic person that I know that will come on the show to bring light to issues happily. I don't care who they are. Hell, I'd even have Chris Cuomo on the show. And I can't stand the motherfucker. But I'd like to have a debate with him about how do you not understand how to approach people in the 2000s. Kind of like the story we did earlier. It comes down to how you see things. The bank saw a black man trying to steal, not a black man trying to get money out of his account. Jim says on the we did that one already, so that's a good guest lineup. And there's that. So, welcome to the Nosey Liberal. Thank you for being a convert. Thank you to the new listeners that we have. I'm trying to be the opposite of all the crap that you get elsewhere. I'm trying to be that person. I may not always get it right. Like I said, not a college degree graduate. Don't have a master's. I'm not a I will never get called a professor like Tom Hartman is generously called. And I don't want to be. I want to be in the trend. My best me, Tom Reynolds, best practices for FYI Nation, the Nosey Liberal, for everything I do here, is to be in the trenches with you. I want to be fighting for you. I want to be arguing for you. I want to be pushing back against the narrative for you. I want to be showing that even though some people on the Democratic side may think Joe Biden is a senile hack, he's doing the right thing. And it's okay to have that point of view. And let's talk about why that point of view is even a material thing. It's because of a Republican narrative that you're buying into. Sorry to shout, but let's be honest. The corporate narrative is Joe Biden is weak. Joe Biden is old. Joe Biden is inferior. Have you looked at Donald Trump? I'm surprised he's not wearing Depends. So all the rest of March, starting next week, great lineup. And thank you, Jim, for giving me the opportunity. I'm the host. I have the opportunity all the time. But giving me the opportunity to talk about our great lineup. See, I love the participation we got going now. This is why I'm so thankful to Tara Devlin, because she is such a giving person and understands this isn't a grift for me. This, if anything, it's penance. I am literally paying penance for all the wrong I did in the 90s. And I did a lot of wrong as a self-hating gay man who just was an awful human being. And I wasn't nearly as awful as the Trump NCs were. I was Joe Lieberman level awful. Or John McCain level awful. So there's that. Let's move back to the story. Enough of that. Granholm, Jennifer Granholm. I loved her when she spoke at the convention. She's a firebrand. She gives great pushback. If she wasn't a Canadian, I'd say run, girl, run. Run for president. I wish she was eligible to run for president of the United States. But you're given, it's like the economy, the grift economy. You're given the economy you're given, and you work the system the best you can, and you make it work for you. So she's doing the work that she should be doing. And it's a great thing that we're lucky enough in our lifetime to see a woman, a strong woman, come out and tell the truth. Granholm calls on oil producers to boost output. We are on a war footing. She's calling them out. She's saying that this is how we have to operate. This is what we need to deal with. Wake up. Right now, we need oil and gas production to rise to meet current demand. Remember, we talked about this. Trump didn't have a high demand of gas and oil because of the pandemic. How quickly forget. So there was not the production levels. Now we have out of pandemic economy getting back and going forward, and we have a renewed demand for oil and gas. Excuse me. So she's telling them we're on a war footing. We need you to produce. It's not like Granholm and the Biden administration is saying, we need you to produce. And we need you to understand that this is important. We need you to be willing to get to the next level. We need you to be willing to go further for America. We need the economy to stay where it is, even during a time of war, so we don't hit a recession. You see, the Democratic side, the Democrats know how to run a country. They don't run it like a business. Because a country isn't a business. A country serves the needs of all the people. Whether it be Nick Fuentes, who I want to fucking poke his eye out, or Jennifer Granholm, who I want to give a great big Joe Biden hug to. The government is here to serve everyone. The commons that Tom Hartman talks about all the time. Again, Democratic people do not see this as a get-rich-quick scheme. The Republicans talk about government being a business all the time because they see it as a way to get up on their grift. They see it as an end justifies the means to get what they want, to boost their narrative, to boost their status, to boost their pocketbook. Not your pocketbook, not your status, not your narrative. They don't care about you, the Republicans, the Trumpanzees. They don't give a damn about you. They give a damn about the company who makes Keystone Oil. And they give a damn about things that are important. Let's see in the comments. We have Jim again. I love Jim. Jim is my new friend. Jim, welcome to the show and thank you. A good country invests in a future profit the current generation will never see. Oh my God, yes. The lockbox. Remember when Al Gore droned on and on and on about the lockbox? The lockbox was there for Social Security so our youth could have Social Security and our boomers could have Social Security. You don't break open a lockbox to just and use as petty cash all the time. Unless you're Donald Trump and don't know how to run a business, or any other Republican. I mean, I'm a really shit capitalist. I want to give everybody health care. I want to make sure everybody has enough to eat, a place to sleep, and I want people to worry about, is Johnny or Susie going to get good grades in school so they can excel? And if good grades don't matter to that person, okay, are they socially adept enough to progress? That's what I believe in. Tom Reynolds of the Nosey Liberal, where you can call in at 203-902-8696. That's 203-902-8696 or hashtag FYI Live. If you haven't noticed, I run my show the way Ed Schultz used to run his show. And I had his legal analyst on our old show, Norman Goldman, and we talked after Ed Schultz died. And I couldn't believe Ed Schultz died because he was such a firebrand. He was a Republican turned Democratic supporter. And he reminded me of me. And he knew that being a Democratic supporter was not a get-rich-quick scheme. And we're not going to take a break because I want to talk to you guys today. But the beauty of it is the system works. It's like America. If you try hard enough, the system will work for you. I know I sound like a Republican talking point when I say that, but anybody can get ahead. But what you have to realize in that, the key nuance in that, is that there are roadblocks, high gas prices, for one, that we're trying to fight against. There are roadblocks of corporate and governmental racism. But it is true. The narrative is true. If you do work hard, you can get ahead. But the opposite side of the coin of it is you can fail miserably. I know. I've had businesses that failed. I have businesses that have been mildly good, and I'm waiting for my success so I can do this full time. Because this is my love. This is my passion. I don't see it as a grift. I don't want to make money off of it. I just want to, I asked for the Patreon so I can do this full time, not so I can make money. I am not wishful thinking enough to think that I am going to make money off of Patreon contributions for FYI Nation. It would be nice, but I don't have that pie in the sky, you're going to get a pony thinking. My thought is, okay, like Jennifer Granholm, I'm at war with my footing to make money, to be prosperous, so I could give my friends help. My friend Ron Placone, he's making a movie. What would I love more than to hand him $100 and say, here's $100 towards your movie? Now, Ron Placone and I do not agree on everything. He is way more progressive than I am, and I'm pretty goddamn progressive. But I love his spirit. I love his integrity. I love everything about his passion, his willingness. And this is another thing about the difference between progressives and Jennifer Granholm wants to be on a war footing to get the American people to prosper, and every American person. even the ones she disagrees with, even that trucker who is out there at the People's Convoy acting a fool. She wants them to prosper. And it really gets to me when the right wing has this narrative. The Democrats are weak and the Democrats don't care. Franklin Delano Roosevelt was so strong. He won 3 elections and they said, we can't have this anymore. And they made an amendment to stop that from happening. They made the rule, you can't have 3 terms. And they were afraid not of something that the Democratic side would be afraid of, oh, I don't know, totalitarian taking power, but they were afraid of a genuine popular person just running rimshot over the political party. Now, the only thing for term limits that I have is presidential, but I'm one of these people who thinks you should have 2 6-year terms. You should be able to get what you want done in the first year and not have to worry about running the second year. And the second time rather. And the second time should be a swan song to your supporters as thanks for the first time that you ran. That's my view on it. I have a pragmatic approach. I have a pragmatic approach to most things. That's why the very liberal wing of the Democratic Party and Greens don't see me as authentic enough. And I don't care. I don't care how anybody sees me. Because here's the thing about me, about Tom Reynolds and the Nosey Liberal. And the show is not about me, it's about you guys. So feel free to participate. Please do. But the show is about you and how we can make your life better, how we can make you more informed to fight the conservatives, to go after the right wing. We're here fighting the fight to make it possible. So in this gig economy, which I hate, you get a little bit of prosperity. And maybe a lot of prosperity, but maybe you'll pay your fair share in taxes, which would be nice. We don't see we don't, at least I don't, down people who my grandfather was a millionaire. My mom's a millionaire. I would be classified as a trust fund baby. We're not like the Vanderbilts of Anderson Cooper or anything. But I am lucky. It's funny, I joke that I have 1 foot in poverty and 1 foot in wealth. Because I know how both are. And I know how easily you could lose everything. Like in a blink of an eye, you could just lose everything. And it's not as easy as the Republicans make it out to be, to just, oh, you're gonna these billionaires, man. These billionaires just had that great idea and they ran with it and they worked harder or smarter, not harder. I don't know. You have to work hard. You have to put your hours in the clock. And you might still be poor. But I'll still say the poorest American is better off than somebody in a third world country. Because the system is better. Can we improve it? Abso-fucking-lutely. Am I a champion of this system? No. We need to be able to say, and this goes back to Jim's comment. We need to invest in the future, oil, and that's why we have a reserve. Like, we need to be able to do that, to be able to get further, to be able to function. That's the only way we can run a government. It drives me nuts when, in non-dark times, Democrats and Republicans alike break into the reserves that we have set up for government. Like, now we should be breaking into the reserves. Now is a good example of when, yes, break into the reserves. We're on a war footing, as Jennifer Granholm says. We have to do everything right. By God, we need to. It's a desperate situation. We do everything right. So, Tara Devlin is going to come up in just a quick minute. I have an actual break that I'm going to take coming up shortly. It'll just be a little switch over. And then we'll get Tara Devlin on the screen. We'll talk about Don't Say Gay, Nick Fuentes.
Is it live or is it Edison? You're on the Soundbeat. The Opera House lights dim. The capacity crowd hushes. Then a voice. Yes, there it is. A high, bright soprano fills the air. But the real fun starts when the singing stops. You see, the year is 1919, and the crowd is taking part in an Edison tone test. Before the lights come back up, they're prompted to guess if what they heard was live or a diamond disc. Wax cylinders provided mankind the ability to reproduce sound. By 1912, though, Edison had clarity in mind when he developed the diamond disc. Grudgingly. Competitors had started producing flat records over a decade earlier, but Edison wasn't convinced. He produced both until 1929. In fact, many of the cylinders produced during this time, like this one, were dubs from diamond discs. That's a whole different level of stubborn. You've been listening to Love's Old Sweet Song, recorded by Marie Rapold in 1919. Soundbeat is produced at the Belfer Audio Archive, Syracuse University Library. I'm Brett Barry.
Tara Devlin is with us, and she is host of the Tara Buster that can be heard on FYNation.com every Saturday and Sunday at 6 p.m. We replay the last week's show for those who might have missed it, and that way we have it there. Let's put that one down and get Tara back on. And
What's up?
I
All right.
sometimes.
Almost knocked my coffee over. Can you hear me? Oh shit, now I don't hear you. Here we go. I heard you, but now you're mute, Thomas. Yeah, I did hear you. And looks like you have you have a Russian bot in your chat room on YouTube. Thomas, I can't hear you, honey. What the fuck happened? We got 2 Russian bots in your chat room. Look at that. Should make me a moderator. What the hell? I can always call in if that works better. I don't hear a damn thing. I can't hear you, Thomas. I don't know what the hell you're saying. You are completely mute on all. Oh, now I hear you. Wait. Oh, no, I hear myself. You're mute on YouTube, too. What the fuck? La-da-dee, la-da-doo. Well, anyway. Hi, Jim. Good morning. I don't know what happened there, kid. You were coming through loud and clear. Now you're gone. You're mute on every platform, by the way. I hear myself, though, coming through. Yeah, maybe more cats, Jim says. We need Tara Jr. in here. Where's my producer? I don't know, honey. You La-da-dee. What's going on, everybody? What's happening, Jim? Well, anyway. We can always look at pictures of kittens. Let me see. Look at this picture of Ray I took this morning. Very cute. I'm having coffee. It was working. I know. Jim is like, as soon as you brought me in, you hit something. It was working. No, it's not. Let me see if I have another video we can watch. Come on, where's my videos? Look at this cute picture of Tara Jr. Jr. What else? Oh, this is Ray. How he starts his morning every day. Happy little kitty. He doesn't know anything about Republicans. Look how happy he is. See? Here he goes. Oh, wee. Let me see. What else do I have here? Oh, we got Robin's sign. Vote Robin. District 51. Robin Kincaid running for office, local office, District 51. Now I'm blurry. Oh, that's probably because I'm doing this. That's Ray. Look how cute. Wouldn't it be nice if we didn't have to fight fascism? We can just talk about things that make life worth living. Walks on the beach. I know Ray has more energy. He does every morning. He wakes up and he rolls around on the floor. It's very cute. He's like, it's a new day, you know. Oh my God, Bobert is my rep, Jim said. Oh my God, Jim. That is horrible. Oh, how embarrassing to be, you know, living in her district. Not you shouldn't be embarrassed, of course. I'm just saying it's just embarrassing in general that people like that get elected. What should I do, Thomas? Should I drop off? Maybe that's part of the problem. I'll drop off and then I'll see if you could get it back. Right? What do you think? All righty. How do I get out of here, actually? Yeah, log off and come back in. Who, me? How do I log off? All right, bye. I'll just cut. I'll just leave the site. See ya.
Let's try this. Completely log out.